The Santa Titan, a random old man. No training, no plan, no idea what just happened. And somehow, completely by accident, he ends up with the two most powerful Titans in the entire story. Here's what nobody remembers about that Titan. Before Marley turned him into a pure Titan, he was an Eldian loyalist, a man who personally knew Grisha Yeager. He knew about the warrior program, the royal family, the founding Titan, all of it. He was not some random creature walking through Shiganshina. He was the most dangerous mind trapped inside a mindless body. And in this timeline, he does not swallow. He bites down. The spinal fluid reaches him instantly. An old man wakes up on the ground, confused, shaking, with the attack Titan and the founding Titan now living inside him. But here's the detail that changes everything. Reiner sees it happen first, then Annie. They know exactly what that old man just became. He has Grisha's memories. He knows every secret Marley was hiding inside those walls. And he is standing in the middle of a civilian evacuation with no one who can stop him from telling the truth to everyone around him. The warriors have two choices: let him talk or reveal themselves right now to silence him. Either way, the mission Marley spent years building collapses in episode 5. The war that was supposed to take a lot of years ends in season 1. Erwin, Colossal Titan. Levi had one dose of Titan serum, 2 people dying in front of him, and the choice he made in that moment is the reason season 4 looks completely different. Erwin Smith wakes up with the Colossal Titan inside him. The first thing he notices is his right arm, the arm he lost, back, completely. And the second thing he notices is that he now carries the most destructive weapon on the planet inside his body. Erwin doesn't waste a single day. He already knew Zeke was Eren's brother before anyone else figured it out. He already suspected the wine the moment Yelena showed up with it. Every soldier who drank it gets quietly pulled from any position close to Eren before a single drop reaches their brain. The Jaegerists never form, not because Erwin stops them with force, but because Erwin sees Flock for exactly what he is 3 years before anyone else does, and points that energy somewhere useful. Then Marley sends its fleet. Erwin stands on the shore of Paradise, looks at the ships crossing the ocean toward his island, and transforms. No hesitation, no speech, just the sky turning white and a blast of heat that reaches the fleet before they ever see land. The soldier who spent his whole life gambling with other people's lives finally has a weapon that matches the size of his plans. But here's the part nobody talks about. After the basement, after the truth, after everything Erwin spent 30 years chasing finally has an answer, what does he do next? His dream is over. The question his father died for is answered. And a man with no dream left, holding the most powerful Titan in history, is the most dangerous thing in this entire story. Good ending. One answer from Mikasa, and Eren Yeager never becomes the monster the world feared. He walks away. Not from cowardice, not from weakness, but because for the first time in his life, he has something worth staying for. They find a piece of land far from the walls, far from Marley, far from everything that tried to turn them into weapons. They build something small with their own hands. A cabin, a garden, a life that nobody in Paradise ever thought was possible for either of them. Every morning, Eren wakes up next to someone who chose him. Not the soldier, not the founding Titan, just him. And for a guy who spent his whole life feeling like a weapon, that is the strangest and best thing he has ever felt. Then their son is born, and everything Eren thought he was fighting for stops, making sense in the best way possible. He is not thinking about Marley anymore. He is not thinking about the walls or the island or the people who want them dead. He is watching a kid take his first steps across a field and trying not to cry about it. He is having dinners that go too long because nobody wants to get up and leave. He is having mornings where absolutely nothing happens, and realizing that was the whole point all along. But Eren always knew the curse was coming. He carried too many Titans for too many years, and that clock never stops. He does not hide it from Mikasa. He tells her early, gives her time to be angry, time to fall apart, time to decide if she still wants this, knowing how it ends. She stays, and when the end finally comes, Eren is not on a battlefield. He is not dying for a cause or being remembered as a hero or a demon. He is home. His son is old enough to remember him. And the last thing Eren Yeager sees is the same thing he dreamed about the night before all of this started. Mikasa, the morning light, and a life that was short but completely his own. Mikasa, female Titan. Nobody ever asked what happens when you give the strongest soldier in human history a Titan on top of everything she already is. Annie was good. Annie was precise, cold, and almost impossible to catch. But Annie needed the Titan to be dangerous. Mikasa was already dangerous before she ever picked up a blade. When Annie is captured alive, Hanji sees something nobody else does. Not a prisoner, a weapon that Paradis could use. The decision to extract the female Titan and transfer it to Mikasa is not unanimous. Erwin has doubts. Nobody knows if an Ackerman can even receive one of the 9. The Titan science has never been tested on someone like her, but they are running out of time and out of options, and Mikasa is the only soldier they trust completely, so they do it. Every Titan shifter has a weak point, a moment where the human inside is exposed, a moment where the transformation costs them something. Eren bleeds out after every fight. Reiner's mind started fracturing years before anyone noticed. Even Annie, the most disciplined warrior Marley ever produced, had limits. Mikasa has none. The Ackerman body does not break down the way a normal human body does. It does not accumulate the same damage, does not hit the same walls. When she transforms for the first time, the female Titan does not just look different, it moves different, faster than Annie ever pushed it. Harder, with a precision that that comes from years of 3D combat translated directly into a Titan body the size of a building. The warriors find out almost immediately. Reiner knows what the female Titan looks like when it moves, and this one moves nothing, like Annie. It moves like Mikasa, and that is the moment Reiner understands that Paradis just changed the entire equation. But here's what nobody in that story is prepared for. Mikasa, with the female Titan, is not just a stronger version of Annie. She is something the Titan system was never designed to produce. The hardening ability that Annie used defensively, Mikasa uses as a weapon. Every strike lands with crystallized fists that hit harder than anything the armored Titan was built to withstand. And when Erwin is in danger, which he always is, Mikasa does not calculate the risk the way Annie calculated everything. She just moves, and nothing in that battlefield is fast enough to stop her. The last thing the warriors expected when they came to Paradis was to find someone who was already their worst nightmare before she ever had a Titan. And now she has one. Gabi missed. One shot, one bullet. And the reason Erwin's founding Titan looked like a walking skeleton is because Gabi blew his head clean off his body before he could transform properly. But what if she missed? Erwin feels the air move next to his face. The bullet blows straight past him and takes out the wall of a house behind him. And then Erwin runs. Not away. Forward. Straight towards Zeke. Faster than he has ever moved in his life. Hands stretched out toward his brother. And then he makes contact. What comes out of the ground is not a broken spine reaching into the clouds. It is something nobody in that story has ever seen before. A complete founding Titan, standing upright, carrying every single Titan power that has ever existed inside one body. The Attack Titan, the Beast Titan, the Founding Titan, the Warhammer, all of them in one form, at full strength. The rumbling still happens. Erwin was always going to start it, but everything about how it plays out is completely different. In the original timeline, Erwin's Titan was so massive and so broken that he could barely move. He was essentially a living platform, a bus that the Wall Titans marched alongside while he dragged himself forward across the ocean. He could not fight back, he could not dodge, he could not protect himself, he could only keep moving and let the rumbling do the work around him, while his friends caught up and found a way to reach his exposed head. That exposed head was the only reason the Alliance had a chance. In this timeline, Erwin is not a bus. He is standing upright, completely intact, with a body that actually responds to him. He moves with the Wall Titans instead of being dragged forward by them. He can change direction. He can react. He can use the Warhammer ability to harden any part of his body the moment something gets close enough to threaten him. And instead of being the broken centerpiece that everyone else has to protect and work around, he is the general of the most devastating army this world has ever seen, moving alongside it, fighting with it, directing it with full control and full awareness of everything happening around him. The Alliance still comes. The fight still happens exactly the way Erwin always knew it would. But what they are facing this time is not a weak point waiting to be exploited. There is no floating head. There is no exposed neck. There is no moment where Erwin is vulnerable enough to be reached. It is just Eren Yeager, fully formed, fully in control, with every Titan power in history inside one body, walking toward the rest of the world and daring it to try and stop him. Gabi never misses, except in this timeline she did, and the whole world paid for it. Smiling Titan eats Bertholdt. Everyone remembers the Smiling Titan, the one that ate Eren's mother, unable to do anything. The one Titan that shows up at the worst possible moment and changes everything. But what if that same Titan, instead of waiting at the gate, walked through it and found Bertholdt first? Dina Fritz, the woman who spent years as a mindless, pure Titan wandering outside the walls, before anyone can do anything, she bites down. Bertholdt is gone. The Colossal Titan is gone with him. And Dina Fritz, the woman who was supposed to spend eternity as a monster, wakes up in Shiganshina as a human being covered in steam, with no memory of what just happened. The soldiers find her first. They think she is just a terrified civilian who survived the breach. They take her inside the walls to safety. And that is where everything starts to fall apart in the best possible way. Grisha has already eaten the Founding Titan. Carla is alive. In the original timeline, Dina ate Carla before Grisha could save her. But in this timeline, Dina never made it to that street. She was eating Bertholdt at the gate, so Carla survives. Grisha has no reason to give Eren the Attack Titan and the Founding Titan that night. He does not need to. The emergency that drove him to pass those powers does not exist. Eren grows up without the Titans inside him, without the burden. Dina, meanwhile, is trying to figure out who she is and where she is. She remembers everything from before she became a Titan. She remembers Grisha. She remembers Zeke. She remembers the Eldian Restorationists and everything they fought for. She starts looking for Grisha, and she finds him living a quiet life inside the walls. What happens in that moment is the most complicated family reunion in the history of this story. Grisha has to explain everything: his first wife, his first son, the years he spent inside the walls building a new life while Dina was trapped outside as a monster. Dina tries to understand. She spent years as a pure Titan, mindless and lost, and the first thing she does when she gets her body back is find the man she never stopped loving. And when she sees him after everything, she does not scream or fight. She just hugs him. And the moment she does, the moment Dina Fritz with her royal blood touches Grisha, who carries the Founding Titan inside him, the power activates. Not the way Eren activated it. Not with a plan or a purpose. The Founding Titan is awake, and it is not in the hands of Eren. It is somewhere inside the walls, active and completely out of their control. Annie and Reiner try to find Bertholdt to regroup, but Bertholdt is not coming back, and now they are two warriors on enemy territory, with no Colossal Titan facing a Founding Titan that just woke up and does not know what it is capable of yet.